Hey, this is Dale from Book Brand Business and the Soul Writers Academy. And what we're going to talk about today is repurposing content from your blog into a book. Now, a lot of people think that this is a fairly simple process. You have a blog, it's full of content, and literally all you have to do is say, I'll take these 20 or 30 blogs, stick them into a book, stick some front matter on, little afterword, cover on, and upload it onto Kindle, Amazon, or wherever you choose to publish. Now, actually, nothing could be further from the truth. So the first point is, I'm going to do a series of these presentations, but in this one, I want to make a couple of points. We write our blogs very differently to the way that we would write content for a book. You wouldn't, one of the things you do when you write a blog is you optimize it for the search engines. Well, you wouldn't want to do that when you were writing a book because people don't want to consume SEO'd content in a book. It's also very likely that, well, actually, let's go back to that previous point. So, you've got all this content. And as I said, you write your blogs very differently to how you would write content for a book. So you are going to need to be prepared to do a big edit. Now, the other thing is it's very likely that you will have not, if your thought process is in, all I have to do is pick up my blogs and put it in a book, you probably haven't outlined it. You probably don't have a chapter framework. So just thinking about those couple of points, I'd suggest that you take a little bit of a step backwards. So we need to, when we're writing a book, in fact, when we do anything, we need to set some goals, we need to have a clear purpose and a clear plan and some structure. So the first thing is I would suggest that you outline your book first. So you'll have decided that you need a particular book for your brand and your business. So create that outline. Understand what your ideal reader will get from the process that you take them through. So, every chapter is a step in a journey. What's the core message of your book and how does that link to the core message of your business? What are the key messages of each of the chapters? And then what content is going to go into the chapter framework? Okay, so we've now got some kind of rough idea of what it is we want to write. So we've got a book, we've got an outline, and we now have a chapter framework, and we now want to put the content in. Now, most people, if I go to any of my blogs, and there are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, 600-700 blogs across many different websites. And how do I choose which are the right pieces of content? But also the thing is, I probably haven't structured that content for a book. Because, if I started blogging in 2015, 5, I can't even remember, whenever it was I started blogging, chances are that I wasn't thinking of writing a particular book at that time, although I probably was. However, I wouldn't have structured my WordPress blog in such a way that I would know which of those pieces of content would go into a particular chapter. So you need to do what I call a knowledge audit. So from the world of knowledge management, we have what's called explicit and tacit knowledge. Explicit, the easiest way to remember is you can click it. So it already exists in some form somewhere. And tacit means you have to create it. So you've got all of this stuff on your blog. That's explicit. When you put your outline and your framework together, you will find that you have some gaps. So we need to do, basically, I would just get a spreadsheet or create your own grid and do something like, perhaps category would be chapter or book and chapter. What is that piece of content that you're going to repurpose? Is it a blog, a report, some kind of article, a video, a presentation, something? And then what is it? Are we looking at facts, a story, procedures, a know-how, some concepts? So you're starting to get a feel to shape things. Where will you find it? So you might find it in a blog, under a particular category, and obviously I would copy the URL of that particular blog and stick it in your spreadsheet. if you've already got the content, it's clearly explicit. Once you've done all this and you've got the outline of the book and you see the gaps, then you can start to put in some other stuff and just mark it off as being tacit, i.e. you have to create it. Now, how are you going to reuse that piece of content? What questions does this piece of content answer in the context of the chapter you're putting it in? And do you need to do any extra research? So there's a couple of ways that you might want to tackle this. So you might just want to say, do you know what, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to do a knowledge audit of everything I've got. Now, if you do that, chances are you're going to find that you've got content for lots of books. I go back and I look through my hard drive and my external hard drives that I've had for donkey's years, and I think, oh yeah, I forgot I had that. Oh yeah, I forgot I wrote that book. Oh yeah, I forgot I did that. And actually, that's stuff for me to repurpose into courses, into books, into workbooks, into planners and all sorts of things. So you could go and do a big, massive knowledge audit and then say, right, okay, what is the right book for right now? Then outline one or several of your books and then just work out where that content's going to go. So the key for this particular presentation is about not taking the content off your blog and just shoving it into a book. It's actually thinking about planning it properly, having an outline, but doing a knowledge audit so that you know what content where and what content you have to create from scratch. So I'm Dale from Book Brand Business and the Soul Writers Academy.